There is a year being built around you, and you have not been told. If you were born under the sign of the twins, between roughly the 21st of May and the 20th of June, then everything I am about to say in the next minutes was, technically, written for you. Not by me, by the sky. And if you have been feeling, since around October of last year, that something inside you has been preparing for something you have not yet named, you have not been imagining it. Tonight, I want to ask you something, and I want you to feel the answer, not think it. What is 2026 asking specifically of you, not of your sign in general, not of your sun, not of the algorithm-generated horoscope you scrolled past on Sunday, but of the part of you that has been alive in this body for 30, 40, 50 years and has never been allowed to fully land? Because here is what almost no astrology teacher will tell you about your sign. You, Gemini, have spent your entire life being slightly translated. Translated by family who needed you simpler. Translated by partners who could only hold one of your faces at a time. Translated by a culture that mistook your range for inconsistency, your curiosity for shallowness, your speed for avoidance. None of that is who you are. All of that is what happens to a soul tuned to too many frequencies, in a world that only knows how to listen to one. If you have ever caught yourself in the middle of a perfectly good life, feeling that you were inhabiting it sideways, if you have ever changed direction so completely that the people who knew you a year ago would not recognize you today, and you knew somewhere in your chest that the change was right, even when no one else understood it. If you have ever sat in your own house, on your own couch, with your own people, and felt the strange echo of a question that goes, "Which one of me is the real one?" then this is for you. And what I am about to tell you is not your annual horoscope. This is your dispatch. The cosmos has built a year around the version of you that has been waiting underneath all the translations. And in the next 60 minutes, I am going to show you 3 things. First, what 2026 actually is, energetically and astrologically, for someone with your soul architecture. Not the generic transits, the exact pressure points. Second, why this year, of all years, was constructed by the sky for the reinvention of Gemini specifically, and what reinvention means when applied to a soul that was already built to evolve. And third, the practice, the exact way you walk into this year so that, by December, you are not the same person who started it. Not metaphorically, practically. But before any of that, there is something you need to understand about yourself that almost no one has ever said out loud. Because the reason this year matters so much for you specifically is the same reason your whole life has felt, until now, like it was missing a piece you could not name. So let me ask you the question this hour will answer. What if the duality you have been told is your weakness is the exact instrument 2026 was designed to play? What? Let me tell you what you are. Because almost no one has, and the description you have been given of yourself is not just incomplete, it is wrong. When the soul that became you was preparing to incarnate, and stay with me, even if you do not believe in pre-incarnation, this metaphor will land for you anyway. Something specific was being built. Not a body, not a personality, an instrument. An instrument capable of registering more frequencies than the average human nervous system was designed to hold. An instrument that could be in 2 places at once, internally. that could hold opposite truths without collapsing one of them, that could hear what someone was saying and what they were not saying. That is the instrument the cosmos sent down. It came in under the sign of the twins, governed by Mercury, the planet that classical astrology assigns to language, translation, message, movement, and the crossing between worlds. You did not draw a difficult sign. You drew the sign of the messenger, the one designed to carry information from one realm to another. So here is the central image I want you to hold for the rest of this hour. 2026 is a tailor-made invitation to Gemini, a year built like a doorway that only fits the shape of your soul. Not a forecast, a summons. Now, at the surface, what most teachers will tell you about Gemini in 2026 is true. You are entering a year of major Mercury cycles. There are 3 Mercury retrogrades. The eclipses fall on a sensitive axis for you. Saturn is teaching you slowly what to keep and what to release. Pluto is asking you to die in some quiet way that the world will not see for years. All of that is the surface truth. It is correct. It is also not the layer that changes you. The deeper truth is this. In 2026, the architecture of the sky has built a sequence of pressures and openings around the part of you that has spent its whole life half translated. The part that learned to round itself off so that other people could understand you. The part that picked one face for work and another face for home, and the third face for love, and learned to switch between them so seamlessly that even you forgot which one was the original. This is the deeper layer. 2026 is not a year of new beginnings for Gemini in the cliché sense. It is a year of subtraction. The architecture of this year is going to keep removing the translations until what is left underneath is the version of you that nobody had to interpret to love. And that version has been sitting inside you, patient, your entire life. Because the duality of Gemini was never a curse. It was an assignment. Most souls are tuned to one wavelength. They live one life with one rhythm. You were not sent like that. You were tuned to multiple frequencies on purpose. Because the role you came here to fulfill is to be the one who can hear more than one truth at the same time, in a culture that has lost the ability to do that. That is why your whole life has felt slightly off-kilter, because you have been carrying an assignment you were never told you accepted. And every time someone called you scattered, or accused you of being two-faced, or told you to make up your mind, they were asking you to abandon the very capacity the cosmos sent you down here to develop. And you almost did, but not quite. You are not scattered. You are not flighty. You are not avoiding commitment. You are pre-tuned to frequencies that this culture does not currently have language for. And 2026 is the year the cosmos has decided you are ready to stop apologizing for the instrument you were given and start playing it. But here is where this gets uncomfortable. Because if 2026 is built to subtract the translations, then everyone in your life who only ever knew the translated version of you is about to meet someone they did not sign up for. In the next 8 minutes, I am going to tell you exactly what that means, em que você está prestes a perder, and what you are about to gain. The summons has begun. So let me show you what 2026 is actually doing to your life. In the order it is doing it, the architecture of this year for you specifically has 4 pressure points. 1 in the first quarter, 1 in the middle of the year, 1 in the early autumn, and one before the year closes. Each one is going to subtract something different, and each one is going to invite something different. You will recognize them as they arrive. Because the body of someone tuned the way you are tuned always knows before the calendar confirms. The first pressure point is already happening. It feels like fatigue with no source. You sleep 8 hours and wake up tired. You drink water and stay thirsty. You finish a perfectly good day and feel somehow that you spent it carrying something. Something has been pulling energy out of you, and you cannot trace the leak. Here is what is actually happening. The spring transit is asking your nervous system to release one specific identity contract. An identity contract is a quiet agreement, often signed in childhood, that says, I will be the version of myself that this room can handle, and in exchange, I will be allowed to stay. You signed at least 3 of these. One with family, one with a partner, one with the work you do. One of those contracts is dissolving right now. But wait, there is something most teachers miss about this transit for Gemini. Most astrologers will tell you to rest through it. No, resting is not what your sign metabolizes. Your sign metabolizes motion in a new direction. What you need is not less, but elsewhere. A different room, a different city, a different conversation. Because your nervous system was built to release through movement, not stillness. And the middle of the year is going to make that very, very obvious. The late June through August window, you are going to find yourself in moments that feel like a mirror. Someone is going to say a sentence to you that names something you have never said out loud. These mirrors are not coincidences. They are the second subtraction. Because once you see yourself reflected, you cannot pretend any longer that the original was a defect. By autumn, imagine a man sitting in a meeting, listening to a project he should care about. And the single sentence lands in him. I am not the person who is supposed to be sitting here anymore. He is being subtracted from a life that used to fit. It is not a midlife crisis. It is the part of his soul pushing through the fatigue. By winter, something stranger happens. Not crisis, compression. A small, quiet, irreversible decision. The kind that takes 30 seconds to make and reorganizes the next 10 years. It will feel like a recognition, like the door you have been walking past for years suddenly opens. 2026 is the year the universe finally takes back from you everything you were never meant to be carrying. But there is a second story being told underneath this one, an older one. The story of why your sign exists at all. And until you understand that story, none of these transits will land the way they were meant to land. But everything I just told you about this year is only half of what is happening. Because the transits of 2026, the pressure points, the subtractions, the mirrors, they are real. But transits do not land in a vacuum. They land in a soul. And the soul they land in carries its own much older architecture. An architecture that has a reason to exist that almost nobody, including most astrologers, has remembered to tell you. So let me tell you why your sign exists. Not in the astrological sense. I do not mean the orbital mechanics. I mean why this kind of soul keeps incarnating into the world. Every culture that ever held cosmology seriously had a name for the kind of soul you are. The Hermetic tradition called it the translator. In every case, the role was the same. You are the one capable of carrying meaning across boundaries that other souls cannot cross. Boundaries between worlds. Boundaries between people. You. Translate. You always have. You have done this so often that you stopped noticing it was a gift. It is not. Most people cannot do what you do. When a translator soul does this work without knowing she is doing it, she pays for it twice. First, in the energy it costs to do the work itself, and second, in the slow, accumulating belief that she must be defective, because she is so tired all the time. And now we come to the first line I want you to write down somewhere. Because if you understand it, the 4 pressure points of 2026 become not a year of disruption, but a year of coronation. You are not scattered. You are pre-tuned to too many frequencies, and 2026 is the year you finally choose which ones to broadcast. Read that again slowly. To stop letting every relationship that needs a translator use you up. Now, there is a cost to making this choice. When you stop translating for the people who never asked if you wanted to translate, some of them will accuse you of changing. What they will be saying is that the version of you that was convenient is no longer available. And tonight, that ends. Within 90 days of you no longer translating for them, they will find someone else who does. That will hurt more than you expect it to. It will also be exactly correct. Because what arrives next is what you will gain. People who do not need you translated. You have been waiting your whole life to meet them. But there is one more thing I have to tell you. There is a reason your sign exists at all that goes deeper than translator. Deeper than anything modern astrology has language for. In the next 12 minutes, I am going to show you who Mercury actually is. Not the planet, the being. And what he has been trying to give you, your entire life, that you have only half received.
Este é o Bloco 5, que mergulha na tradição hermética e no papel sagrado de Gêmeos. O texto possui aproximadamente 4,850 characters, o que o coloca no limite de segurança do 11 Labs V3. Para garantir que a IA não acelere no final, dividi o script em 2 partes lógicas para você gerar separadamente. Aqui estão os scripts formatados para a máxima profundidade emocional. Bloco 5, Part 1. The Hermetic Office. História e psicopompo. Este trecho foca na figura de Hermes Trismegisto e na função sagrada do seu signo. In the 2nd century after Christ, in the city of Alexandria, there was a body of writings that almost did not survive. They were something older than all 3, and yet whispering through all 3. The writings were called the Corpus Hermeticum, attributed to a figure who was a man, a god, or both. Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice great, the patron of your sign. The being whom every astrology book has reduced to a small, fast planet, and whose actual identity has been forgotten almost entirely in the West. Mercury is not a planet. Mercury is a role. In the original cosmology, Hermes was the being assigned to a single specific function.
He was the psychopomp. The Greek word literally means soul guide, the one who carries souls between worlds, between the world of the unspoken and the world of what gets said, between the world of what one person knows and the world of what another person can finally understand. Now listen to that list. Read it again with your own life in mind. You have been doing that since you were a child. Not by training, by mandate. When the cosmos sends down a Gemini soul, it is not a personality assignment. It is an ordination. You were given a sacred office. You were never told. But you have been performing the duties for as long as you have been alive. Inside the corpus hermeticum, there is one specific text called the Emerald Tablet. One of its lines is the most quoted in Western mysticism. As above, so below. As within, so without. In Hermetic teaching, that sentence says, there is a person inside the cosmos and a cosmos inside the person. And only certain souls are built to know both at the same time. Those souls are your souls. Mercury did not curse you with duality. Mercury elected you to translate between worlds. You were not given two faces because the cosmos was confused about you. You were given two faces because the work you came here to do requires two. One face that can hold the conversation that is happening. One face that can hold the conversation that is not yet possible, but soon will be. And you were trained to call this multiplicity a defect by people who only had one face and could not imagine a soul built for more. The cosmos has been training you in this hermetic office your whole life. And then someone in your life told you that what you were naturally doing was the problem. And you believe them. You have been believing them for 30, 40, 50 years. But the cosmos does not unmake what it ordains. It only waits. And the cosmos has waited for you to be ready. And the year that is currently unfolding around you was built for precisely this. Now I am going to ask you to do something. Place one hand over your throat, not your chest, your throat. Because in the body of a translator soul, the throat is where the office lives. The place where what is heard becomes what is said. And I want you to ask the part of yourself that has been listening, what message have I been carrying for someone else when I should have been delivering it to myself? Whatever rises, do not soften it. Whatever the first answer is, that is the message. Whatever you are tired of carrying for someone else, the cosmos has spent your entire life making you the only person who could deliver it to yourself. If you placed your hand on your throat at the end of the last block, then the message has already begun to rise. You may not have words for it yet, but it is in motion now. And whatever rose, whether it was a truth you have been mediating for everyone but yourself, or a perspective you have been editing out of your own life, hold it. Because what I am about to give you in the next 8 minutes is the reason that message rose, precisely now. So here is the surface answer to the question that opened this hour. What is 2026 asking specifically of you? On the surface, It is asking you to stop translating for everyone else and start translating for yourself. To take the office that the cosmos ordained you into, the Hermetic office of soul guide, and turn it inward. To finally use your gift on the only person who has been waiting longest for it, you. That is the surface answer. It is true. It is also not the answer that changes you. The deeper answer is this. The reason 2026 was built around you specifically is not because the cosmos was reorganizing the calendar. It was preparing the conditions for an internal recall. Every soul on earth has been on assignment. You were sent to translate, and every translator's soul hits a point where the cosmos quietly says, "Come home long enough to translate this for yourself." Because if you do not, the office cannot be completed. That moment for you is 2026. It is not a year of new beginnings in the cliché sense. It is the year of the recall. The year you stop traveling outward to deliver messages to other people, and finally walk the path back inward to the soul that has been waiting in your throat for the longest message of all. Now here is what almost no teacher will tell you. The work you came here to do has 2 phases. Phase 1 is what you have been doing your whole life. Going outward, translating for rooms that never thanked you, building the muscle of the office without knowing you were building it. You completed phase 1 already. Some of you completed it 10 years ago. And the fatigue you cannot explain is the proof that you finished. Phase 2 is what 2026 is initiating. Phase 2 is the inward turn. Bringing the office home. Using everything you learned in the outward years, the tonal range, the ability to hold contradictions, and applying it finally to the rooms inside yourself. To the parts of you that have been speaking and not been heard, which is you. So here is the line. You have spent your life delivering messages to everyone else. 2026 is the year you finally arrive at your own door with the message that was always for you. 2026 is a tailor-made invitation to Gemini, a year built like a doorway that only fits the shape of your soul. Not because the cosmos is rewarding you, because the cosmos is recalling you. Bringing you home from the long journey of carrying everyone else's truth. You are not behind. You are not late. The years you spent translating for others were not detours. They were the apprenticeship. The cosmos did not waste a single one of them. Every conversation you carried, every silence you decoded, was preparation for the year that just began around you. You did not draw a difficult sign. You drew the sign of the messenger. And in 2026, the message has finally come home. Now I am going to show you what to do tomorrow morning and the morning after, because the office is not a moment. It is a daily practice, and without the practice, the message you just received will return to translating itself for someone else by sundown. If you have stayed with me until this minute, I want you to hear something before I give you the practice. What you just felt is rare. The fact that you stayed through 50 minutes of something that named things you have spent decades not naming, that is not common. That is the office. That is the part of you that has been waiting for someone to speak to it directly. And tonight, someone finally did. If this channel has spoken to a part of you that nothing else has been able to reach, subscribe and walk this path with me. Not because I am asking, because the office is. And let the next dispatch find you. Now, back to the work that matters, because what comes next is the part most people skip. And it is the part that actually completes the recall. First, tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you say good morning to anyone, you will sit somewhere quiet for 60 seconds and translate one thing. Internally, take whatever you woke up feeling, fatigue, dread, a sentence in your head, and ask the office one question. What is this trying to say to me before I translate it for anyone else? You will not edit the answer. You will only receive it. Within 14 days, you will notice something strange. Your day begins to feel like it has a thread, instead of feeling like it has been hijacked by everyone else's signal. That thread is the office coming online. Second, you are going to keep a ledger, not a journal, not a diary, a ledger. Each evening, you will write one sentence that answers this. What message did I carry today? That was not mine to carry. You will not analyze. You will only record. Because translator souls have been trained to forget what they carried 5 minutes after they put it down. Within 30 days, you will see a pattern, the same kind of message, the same kind of person. Now finally, visible. Third, once a day, for the next 40 days, you will pause whatever you are doing. Place one hand on your throat and ask the office, what am I about to translate for someone else right now that I should be saying to myself instead? You will not act on it immediately. You will only listen. Because the throat of a Mercury soul is the gate where the office either opens inward or outward. This practice is the first time you teach it to open, in the other direction. Fourth, in the next 21 days, only one time, you will refuse to translate for someone who is asking you to. You will feel yourself beginning to soften the words of one person for the ears of another. You will not. You will let the words land as they were originally spoken. You will not edit. You will not bridge. And then you will sit with what happens. Because what happens is the office returning a portion of itself to you. One portion at a time. Until it is all yours again. Fifth, and this one is the most powerful. Once a week, for the next 12 weeks, you will write yourself a letter. First, here is what I overheard myself feeling this week. Second, here is what I would say to a friend who told me this. Third, here is what I am going to say to myself instead. You will fold the letter, you will keep it, because the office is the practice of delivering messages between worlds. And the world that has been least heard in your entire incarnation is the world inside you. These 5 practices together are not self-improvement. They are the inward turn, done daily for the next moon cycle, you will not recognize the version of yourself that arrives at the other side. But the office will, because that version was always the one who originally accepted the assignment. It has been an hour. Something shifted in you in the last hour. You may not name it yet. You do not have to. The part of you that needed the naming, she was already named. Somewhere underneath, the moment you pressed play. All this hour did was bring the recognition up to where you could feel it. You did not learn anything tonight. You remembered. You remembered the office. You remembered the assignment. You remembered why you have always been the way you are. And the cosmos, who has been waiting for the recall to land, just received your acknowledgement. If this reached you, if any part of this hour found a place inside you that nothing else has been able to find, there are 5 souls in your life right now who are walking the same threshold. Send this to them, not because I am asking, because the office is. The translator does not keep the message. The translator carries it across. The right ones will receive it the way you did. And before you go, tell me below, which moment in the last hour did you feel in your throat? Which sentence stopped you? Made you forget you were watching a video? And which question do you want me to take next? Because I read every soul who shows up. And the ones who comment, teach me what the next dispatch should carry. You are part of this canon now. There is one more thing the chart reveals about you though. Something I did not have time to name tonight. Because every Gemini has a Mercury, and the position of Mercury in your specific birth chart reveals not just how you translate, but which language you were sent down to deliver. And until you know that, the office is only half claimed. That is what I will show you next. Until the cosmos calls you back to me, stay in alignment. Stay in awe. Stay in awe.